Hey YouTube, what is going on? My name is Andrew, aka the Black Dragon. This is Black Dragon Studios, and I'm back with another episode of Doomsday Last Survivors. Some of you may be wondering, where have you been like for the last week? You haven't been posting, you haven't been doing any content. Well, I'll tell you guys, man, I have been taking a vacation from YouTube. I have been sick and tired of posting about Doomsday. I've been sick and tired of just like editing videos pretty much. That's pretty much the main thing, man. It's like I don't mind doing these videos, but sometimes editing the actual videos, it takes me between like 3 to 5 hours depending on the video. Sometimes it takes even longer. It depends on how long the video is. You know, I've just been chilling, just enjoying the end of my August, the end of my summer. And yeah, there's been some construction across the street. They're doing like excavating and stuff like that. So my whole house has been shaking for the last 3 days nonstop between the hours of around 9 in the morning until 6 p.m. Just constantly. It feels like a mini earthquake, and it was just really impossible to even think during that time. So I'm back now, and we're going to be doing a reaction video today. I've never done a reaction video to any other YouTuber's video ever before on Doomsday. I will tell you some of my own personal history so you guys can kind of get to know me a little bit as well, before to give you some context of why I'm making this analysis in today's video. But I used to play a game very similar to this. It's sort of a gotcha, like open up new characters. You gotta collect stuff and save stuff and things like that for events and stuff and such. It's called Raid Shadow Legends. You guys may have heard of it before. It's pretty much got the exact same concept as this game, only this game, the only difference between that game and this game is more of a like shelter, collect stuff and build up your shelter and customize your shelter type game, whereas Raid is just the characters. You literally just collect the characters and build up the characters, and there's a lot less PvP in the game of Raid, and there's a lot more whaling. Like if you want to be at the top level or even just like the low level, this is how sad it is in Raid Shadow Legends. Even just the lowest level PvP in Raid Shadow Legends, if you're not a whale, you're really going to struggle to even compete a little bit. Which is why I'm talking about this today, okay? I used to be a Raid Shadow Legends streamer, Raid Shadow Legends content creator before I became a Doomsday content creator. The reason I quit playing Raid Shadow Legends was I didn't really quit. I shouldn't say I quit, but I'm trying to quit. I've been trying to get rid of my account, if you know what I'm saying, that forbidden S word that nobody's allowed to talk about. I've been trying to do that for quite a little while now. And yeah, it has been working out. So I do log in daily and I do, just collect rewards and stuff like that. And that's really it. I mean, I've put thousands of dollars into the account. I've played the account for many years, and it's almost like this game in a way where you're so invested in the game, and that's the developer's whole premise, right? Is to get you as invested in the game as possible so that your chances of quitting the game or choosing a different game are as low as humanly possible. But the reality is that in the end, if the game becomes that bad where the developers are just doing things that go completely against what the player base is wanting, and it happens often enough, eventually players will quit the game. They will stop spending their money on the game. They will look for other avenues, other games to play, other games to spend money on. It's not like the players, just because the one game stops becoming attractive to a player and they stop spending money on it, does not mean that they're done spending money on video games altogether. No, it's almost like the same thing as having a girlfriend, you know what I mean? Like, or a boyfriend, depending on your preference. In real life, like if you have one and you become bored of them or you become unattracted to them or you just looking for something else, you break up, it's not like you just stop spending money on them altogether. You go find a new person. And oh my god, what am I even saying right now, man? I'm not trying to get into this conversation, but you get what I'm saying, that there is no monopoly on the player base. The players will always look for the best game possible to play. They will always strive to find the best gaming experience for themselves as possible. You can't keep a good gamer down, is what I'm trying to say, I guess, ultimately speaking. And I feel like once the developers, once the producers start to get lazy and start to get careless with their player base, they start to get greedy. That's the point we find ourselves right now at with Doomsday Last Survivors. I came in kind of in the glory days of Doomsday Last Survivors, and it was a decision I made based off luck, first of all and foremost. But secondly, it was based off of circumstantial reasoning, meaning the game that I was playing at the time was going downhill and it was losing players. There was becoming less and less reason to spend money on it. Like all the prices of the packs had nearly doubled in the last 2 years, making it basically impossible to play the game at a pay to win level. If you want to play the game at a free to play level, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices and understand that you'll never be competitive. You'll never progress your account. Um, it's just a really depressing and demoralizing experience for a person that spent literally thousands and thousands of their own money on the game to be told that they're literally never going to be anything in this game. And you know what I mean? It's just sad. It's just sad. It's not a good mental frame of mind to be in, to know that you're going to go into a game and you're going to spend thousands. It would be like the same thing as going into a store. You're going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, or even just your hard-earned time. You know what I mean? That's time that you could use to do something else with, but instead you're choosing to play this game because the developers have made one hell of a game. Um, so if you told me, yeah, you're going to go into the store today, you're going to spend $2,000 and you're going to walk out of the store with less than you came in with, somehow, how does that make sense? That's what you call a scam. That's the ultimate definition of a scam. You pay for something that you're expecting to get and that you're hoping to get, and you walk away with the complete opposite, nothing. So the whole moral of the story is that a lot of players have quit Raid. They've looked, and a lot of people like myself were looking for a new game to play. I was being played by an app. I was being paid by an app called Misplay. If you guys don't know what the app Misplay is, it's just basically an app that pays people to play games, to try new games and play these games. They give you things like gift cards and all kinds of things like that you can actually spend in real life, like Walmart gift cards, Tim Hortons if you're in Canada, gift cards, Amazon gift cards. And it's really not that hard to obtain. You just need to put like an hour or two of your time into these games. And this is one of the games that I played initially. And it was actually a game that caught my interest magically. And I became a Doomsday Last Survivors content creator as a result of it. Fast forward to today, I became what the channel is known as today. I created raid videos. I was probably a raid Shadow Legends content creator for the better part of 4 years, almost 3, 4 years. And I never got the type of response from the community, because there's a lot of raid content creators that are already well established and already made a name for themselves in the raid community. There's probably over a dozen of them that on average get between 5 to 20,000 views per video on their videos, making a very niche area of interest a very big level of success for them in their own personal lives. While at the same time, there's probably 100 or 200, I'm just guessing here. There's probably more. There's probably more like 100 or 200 new ones every week, but there's more like, I would say at least 500 low level content creators for the game of Raid Shadow Legends, which at one point was the second highest grossing RPG video game, like strategy based RPG in the Google Play Store. So it was at its peak one of the biggest mobile video games in the world. So even at that rate, it's extremely difficult to become to make yourself successful doing those types of things. So As a result of playing this game, I never planned on doing an actual Doomsday video. I just started randomly posting the odd Doomsday video and such on YouTube for you guys, and it took off. I started getting thousands and thousands of views to the point now where the channel is getting over like between 10 and 20,000 views a month. You know what I mean? So to go from nothing, literally, sometimes my raid videos would get me like between 5 and 10 views. And I'm not saying this to like the whole point of this video is to not tell you guys my success as a content creator or brag about my success as a content creator, because if I'm being truthful with you guys, I really don't feel like I've even touched the surface of this channel's potential. I don't even feel like we've started yet, if I'm being completely honest with you. The only reason I'm telling you guys about that raid game is because the developers for Raid, even with the amount of content creators that have like a very successful platform and have between 10 and 20,000 views on a video on average, I mean, they have one guy with like 400,000 subscribers, and they can still barely get the developers to listen to what the player base is saying and make the necessary changes and corrections to the game. I still go into that game every day feeling depressed, not excited, not hopeful. I go into the game because it's just basic muscle memory, and I've invested so much in the game, and I'm still hoping that the developers will someday wake up and make the game something great again. But they've done the same mistakes over and over again that IGG has made, which is a laundry list of things that we can kind of just strike off here as Hi Guy goes through his video. But the main thing that I'm going to tell you guys that Raid does that I'm now noticing IGG doing. Okay, so the developers of Raid is called Plarium, and the developers of IGG is called, or developers of Doomsday is called IGG. The main thing that they're doing is they're adding so much content to the game, and it's messing up their servers. It's messing up the players' heads because it's game overload. It went from like a balanced level of content to a manageable level of content where people were coming in and playing that content, because there's only so much time in a day, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. To where they've just added in this, added in that, added in this, added in that, and now all of a sudden we've got so much content, and most of it is pay to win. So a lot of it you actually have to pay in order to experience the full benefits of this content. Otherwise, you're just getting fluff rewards. You're just getting, the bottom of the barrel experience, and that's not what the content's supposed to be. That's not what the main objective of content is supposed to be. They went from the primary objective of it being a video game that players come in and have fun to a business model where players, it's predatory, directed at how can we soak the most money from each player on average over the course of, say, 6 months, a year, 2 years. For whatever reason, maybe they want to sell the company, the ownership of the rights of the title of the game to a new company, or maybe they just want to, sunset the game like Apex Legends did way back in the day. Apex Legends Mobile was one of the most memorable games that I played that just basically vanished into thin air. The owners just decided, we don't want to sell this game. We don't want to produce this game anymore. We don't want to continue updating this game. So what they ended up doing was it was a first person shooter. So it's one of the most successful first person shooters ever created, still to this day on Xbox, PS5, stuff like that. And it used to be on mobile, and I played it, but I started playing the game during its sunset phase. So I started playing as the game was declining, as the game was getting ready to be shut down. And I was thinking to myself, wow, they actually have a really good game here. Why are they doing this? This is absurd. I never did get the answer to that question. But one thing I learned is that, a game can be here today and gone tomorrow, even a good game. And it's something as a player you just have to be prepared for, and something you have to be willing to accept, that if I dump all this money into a game, it can be here today and gone tomorrow. and there's no getting your money back. There's no getting that time back that you spent on the game. It's just gone, and you have to find a new game to play, right? I looked at the list of games that IGG makes today. There's a laundry list of over like 20 different games that IGG currently publishes in the Google Play Store. So yeah, they're a pretty big company, and I don't see this game tanking anytime soon. Like the game of Doomsday Last Survivors, there's actually quite a few games out there that are similar to this game, like State of Survival, but I don't plan on playing those games unless I absolutely have to. I still believe in this game. I believe in the potential of Doomsday Last Survivors. The one thing that I don't believe in at the moment is I don't believe in what direction the game is headed at the moment. You know, this game was good, and this game was actually a force to be reckoned with before the healing change came out. It was like almost like the day that the healing change came out was the day that literally everything changed for me. And I noticed a massive shift in popularity and morale throughout the Doomsday community, to the point where like people are just nonstop complaining about the game and depressed about the game and feeling like the game's not even a game anymore. Like we're all just coming in, and it feels like going to work almost. Like we're just coming in, collecting our rewards, and then going off and huffing and puffing. Like, why did I even have to come in and play this game today? I don't even want to do it. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on this. And yeah, there's more to it, but I just kind of want to touch a little bit on the high guy here, who has agreed to let me review his video on my video. So, okay, so we're going to go in here today and watch this. Finally, somebody posted this. I was waiting for somebody to say something. I already did, but didn't really... It kind of fell on deaf ears, so let's see what this guy's saying here.
My name is Chris the High Guy Jacobs, and today we're diving deep into a story that's been brewing in the mobile game industry. The rapid downfall of IGG's once promising title, Doomsday Last Survivor. So grab your supplies, grab your lifters, and take shelter, because things are about to get a little apocalyptic. Not in the cool end of world sort of way, but in the unravel.
I just want to say this, bro, and I'm sure I just want to address the elephant in the room, and I'm sure that everyone is thinking the same thing, judging by what I'm reading in the comment section. The fly game in this guy's room is just off the charts, bro, but those flies are going crazy for him. But anyways, let's continue.
Traveling of a game that still has what this content creator thinks is so much potential. Let's break down exactly where things are going wrong for IGG and Doomsday Last Survivors, point by point. First and foremost, we have an issue that hits close to home for every gamer. Customer support. When you put time, in this game, a heck of a lot of money into it, you expect support to have your back. Unfortunately, IGG seems to have missed the mark here. Players have reported long wait times for responses, canned copy-paste replies, and worst of all, a lack of actual solutions. When accounts are stolen, alliances are robbed, or the system just stops working during registration, support often fails to resolve the issue, leaving players frustrated and feeling ignored. Instead of reassuring their community, IGG's customer support has become a point of pain, pushing loyal fans away. With continuous lacking responses, 24-hour wait times for resolutions when time is an issue, and what appears to be a support team not truly knowledgeable of the program or systems themselves, players are often left to their own devices for some kind of clarity. When the players themselves know more about the mechanics than the developers, we start to understand the real issues plaguing this game.
Truth. When he said that last part about the players knowing more about the game than the actual support, like customer support, I've had this experience myself. Like, I'll go into customer support and I'll ask them about a game mechanic. I'll give you guys an example. I went in and I asked them about this talent here. So basically here, during Siege, this is in Rubina's skill kit. During siege, the number of units killed in battle will be reduced by 1.5%. And I think if you fully max this, it goes up to around 10 or 12%, which is crazy. Or no, 9% I think is what it goes up to if you fully max this, which is a lot of reduced number of killed units in battle. But during siege doesn't really specify or didn't specify exactly what siege is in the game. I still don't know what siege means in this game. Is it just when you're attacking a shelter? Is it when you're attacking a garrison post, or both? I can't tell you because I don't know. So I asked IGG about this. They told me to send them a screenshot of the specific thing that I was telling them about. And so I did that. And they told me, we'll get back to you in email tomorrow. And they never did. So the question is, why is customer service being hired to serve this game when they don't even understand what the game is? Okay, these are people that are being paid a wage to actually support the game that is being played, and they're not able to understand literally they're not even able to look for the answer, so they have to send you off to it anyway. Really frustrating, really annoying, unnecessary. Get your shit together, hire some people that know a thing or two about the game, and give them a handbook so that they can answer simple questions like when players come in and ask questions about gameplay, that they can actually be directed to the correct answer without having to wait 24 hours. It's just really stupid. It's not necessary.
Next, let's talk about server stability. For a game that relies so heavily on real-time interaction, stable servers are absolutely non-negotiable, but Doomsday Last Survivors is plagued by frequent disconnects, lag spikes, and atrocious matchmaking. These server issues don't just interrupt gameplay, they often lead to lost progress, wasted resources, and even missed in-game events. The worst part, when the community does flag these problems, responses are slow and solutions are rare. This ongoing instability has
Truth. Facts. I've noticed, especially recently, it looks like a lot of other people are noticing that, especially during events like Genesis War and Archipelago Raid, Island Raid, but it was really, really bad during Genesis War, you'll notice that the servers tend to just go offline randomly during these time-limited events, these very short time-limited events, where the shelters that you've spent weeks, months, and years building can all come crumbling down because the stupid servers for you have gone offline, but they have not for the enemy. So your shelter is in a vulnerable position all of a sudden. Your shelter is getting burned, your troops are getting killed, your marches are being destroyed because you're not able to protect yourself, because you're not able to move back, or you're not able. So you get the point. I don't need to drag it on, but this was never a problem before. It only started becoming a problem once the healing update occurred. So it was almost like the worst thing imaginable, that the healing curse is what I'm going to start to call it. Not the healing update. That was a healing down date, because we got downgraded a lot during the healing curse. Fuck it, dude. We're calling it the healing downgrade from now on. I'm no longer going to be referring to it as the healing upgrade. It's literally going to be called the healing downgrade. So when we got the healing downgrade, the servers became laggy. The servers, every event has become unplayable. He mentioned something about matchmaking too. Yes, matchmaking has always been shit in this game. And anybody who disagrees with me, explain yourself as to why you don't think that the matchmaking is bad in this video. Please, somebody explain that to me. But just from my own personal experience, I've noticed that I've been in everything except Apex Warzone in this game, where yes, you're expected to be playing at a very high level in Apex Warzone, but I have found Elite Warzone to be even very similar to some of the servers that I've played in Fearless Warzone, especially for events like Genesis War, Archipelago Raid. island raid, all the same thing. You've got whales that are just unbeatable on every single map. It seems that there's always this big top alliance in one of the maps that nobody has a chance to beat. Okay, so it's almost like, can you not just put alliances that are equally matched against other truly similar alliances? Because there's hundreds and hundreds of different alliances in this game. So you mean to tell me that literally for the last 3-4 months of my gameplay experience that I have not been matched against a single, that I was not able to be matched against a single alliance that is equal in power to my alliance, meaning that most of the time we get matched against alliances that are 2 or 3 times our power. So you mean to tell me that there's not a single alliance out there that is equal to our power, that we have to be matched up against people that are absurdly overpowered or become the absurdly overpowered alliance in literally every single event we play, making the game not fun. It's not fun to be the dominant force on the battlefield, and it's also not fun, like basically where you know what's going to happen before it even happens. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no mystery to the game. There's no battle, because when people already know that they're going to get absolutely trounced if they try to defend a tower or try to attack a tower or attack a building and hold a building, then they just avoid the battle altogether, because this game is very expensive. Okay, so you have to consider all of the deaths that are going to occur. That's another thing that I'm going to say. Like, the amount of deaths that are unretrievable in this game is absurd. It's absurd. 70% of your troops getting sent to the aid station is a fucking joke, dude. Which means that every time you take part in a tower battle, an Archipelago raid, and you don't have the privileged subscription, let's just say, for example, 70% of your troops from that battle that get sent to the aid station, other 30% are permanently dead. So let's say 200,000 of your troops are dead. You're going to lose 60,000 troops. 60,000 troops. 60,000 troops of your troops are gone forever. Do you know how long it takes me to train 60,000 troops? IGG, I'm talking to IGG at this time. It takes me a very long time. If I was to not use speed ups and train 27,000 troops, that's going to take like 2 weeks. So if I just did a tower battle, I just lost 2 months. 2 months worth of troop training in one tower. That's ridiculous, bro. So something needs to change. Whoever's making these figures does not know what they're doing and does not understand or respect players' time or money. Because if they did, they would make the game fun. Make the game fun. That's the whole point of this video. Make the game fun. Stop making it about money.
Shattered player trust, with many leaving simply because the game doesn't work when they need it to. Look at this most recent turn of events. Their last Genesis War experienced so much lag that they literally had to give out daily apology rewards for the condition of their servers. Not to mention their own world champion.
And yeah, so those rewards, I got to admit, yes, they're nice, but at the same time, they come at the cost of being able to participate in the game. It's not good. I would rather not get the reward and have the game working and being able to play the game than this, what is this, random, couple of items that don't even make a dent in the overall grand scheme of things. IGG is trying to solve its problems by putting on a bandage where they need a cast. They need to put a cast on the wound and let the broken bones heal. But instead, they just keep reapplying a bandage over and over again, and nobody is buying it. Nobody is satisfied with it. People are losing passion. People, like, I'm coming into the game getting the same feeling that I used to get when I played Raid Shadow Legends. Oh great, what is IGG gonna be doing today? Like, what's the next what's the next retarded thing I'm gonna come in and see today? That's pretty much how I log into the game every single day. With doubt, uncertainty. These are the things that crash stock markets, and IGG is doing it to themselves. It makes no sense, you know? I will admit Raid has reclaimed a little bit of its lost promise by making some small improvements to their game that players have been hounding them about for years. But it still doesn't solve the eternal issues that are gonna prevent players from wanting to invest in this game long term. Until they make these changes or revert some of these changes that were made, and they still didn't even give an explanation. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, sometimes just an acknowledgement and explanation of a change is enough for people to just accept it and move on. But in this case, IGG hasn't even given us any sort of reason or explanation whatsoever to the reason that healing was changed. They just left it all open to the imagination, and people can make their own assumptions as to why these changes were made in the first place. But because there's no logical reasoning for us as a community, we cannot discern any logical reason other than money and greed for IGG was the reason for these behind these changes. Servers were not laggy before. Why? Because the servers were optimized to the content that was being offered in the game. Now, the servers are no longer optimized because they're being overloaded, overcrowded, and underserved. It's a very simple and reasonable thing that when your servers are laggy and when your servers are crashing, you add in the correct number of servers to make the game a smooth operating experience. But in this case, IGG has just acknowledged it in the letters to the players, but they refuse to actually make the necessary changes in game, which leads the players to believe that IGG doesn't care. And when players think that the developer doesn't care, it prevents them from wanting to invest money in the game, because we are left again with that key word, uncertainty, and doubt in our minds that the game is going to be there tomorrow because the people that are developing the game today are destroying it. Okay, let's move on to the next point here.
Championships couldn't even go through one smooth event on their own private servers with their own private material. This just proves to me that the unbalanced gameplay only serves to frustrate and alienate, or pay-to-win mechanics skewing competitions. Heroes being overwhelmingly overpowered, like using Ethan on every single line, matchmaking not providing a fair or balanced event, or pay-to-win mechanics skewing competitions. Players are left feeling like the odds are stacked against them. Instead of offering a level playing field, unbalanced gameplay only serves to frustrate and alienate both casual and competitive players alike. This game used to be way more balanced for the average player. Things were achievable by simply grinding out the time clock and putting in the work. Now, it's $1,000 every single week for a new March skin, new must-have hero, or new device that is only achievable by spending more money. Even the World Championships weren't decided by actual skill, but by who actually spent the most. So it's becoming more and more clear the only thing IGG cares about is their bottom line, which brings up our next point.
Here's the thing, and I agree with that. It would seem to the naked eye that IGG only cares about its bottom line. But if IGG truly cared about its bottom line, don't you think that they would actually make the game an enjoyable experience, make the game fun, make the game something that the players enjoy coming in, spending their money, spending their time, rather than making all of these ridiculous changes that they know are going to piss the player base off. They've heard us. They've made it clear in the emails that they send us in game that they hear what we're saying to them, but do they really actually hear what we're, do they actually take what we're saying into consideration and make those changes in game? And the answer to that is no. Most of the time they don't. So it's a very big catch-22. It's like they care about their bottom line, but at the same time they don't know how to care about their bottom line. That's the easiest way I can say this, because if they truly did, they wouldn't be doing this shit to destroy their game. So it's just self-sabotage is all it is at its finest form.
With Doomsday Last Survivors, it's clear that monetization is front and center. From aggressive microtransactions to paywalls that block meaningful progression, it feels like every aspect of the game has been designed to make players spend more. Events are structured around purchases, and limited time special offers consistently bombard us. This relentless focus on profit over...
Let me give you guys a prime example of what he's talking about right now, okay? If I go in game, I'll show you guys exactly what he's talking about. Let's add up the amount of stuff that I could buy in game right now if I was to buy every single pack. Here's the monthly special pack, $4.99 gold. So that's 500 gold right there. And then if I was to buy all these packs and get the bonuses from these packs, there's another 1,500, 3,000 gold right there. So 6,000. So 6,000 plus 3,000, 9,000 gold for buying the 1,900 packs. Buy 3, get 1 free, right? You don't want to buy 2. You don't want to buy 1. You got to buy 3 to get the full benefit. So you're going to buy those. So that's 9,000 gold if I was to buy all these here. Another one here. That's 1,500 gold. So another 1,500. That's 12,000 gold. Another 12,000 gold. So if I was to buy all these packs here, that would be 15,000 gold. Just off this here and this here. So then we go here, and the limited time promos are another 500, 1,000, 16,000, 17,000. There's all these here. 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 here. And this is all just in one day, you know? This is all just one day. 21,000, 22, 23, 24, 25. So there's potential just off this one little section right here to spend like 30,000 gold. Then you've got another section here, 500 more. Then this, I could spend this right now. That's another. So 32,000, 33, just with this here. And then all these. So there's another 4,000 gold there. So 34,000 gold, 35,000 gold. I'm not even going to count those packs there. Let's pretend like those packs aren't even there. But if we did count in those packs that probably nobody buys anyways, there'd be another potential, I don't know, 15,000 gold spent. So 45,000 gold just off those packs alone. And then I go here and I purchase this pack. There's another 500 gold. Here, 500. And then 1,999. So 2,500 gold. So 45,000. 47,500, 50,000, 52,500. This is just to buy all these packs here. 55,000 gold, and then like 57,000 gold. I'm just going to give you a ballpark, okay, once we're done the calculation of how much I could buy in these packs, how much this would actually cost per day, and how realistically thinking IGG is in their analysis of how much people can actually spend. So you're going to spend like another 3,000 gold to obtain all these packs. So that's 60,000 gold. And then if you wanted to come in here and buy these packs here, okay, we've got the Behemoth's Legacy. That's going to cost 2,500 gold. We've got the Titan Doomsday event where you can buy all these packs here. If you bought all these packs here, that would cost you easily another 18,000 gold. So now we're looking at 70,000 gold just off that, okay? Then you want to come over here to the, let's see here, the Biohazard event, and they've got the chips currently available for purchase. So we can go here and we can buy all these chips. It's going to cost you another 18,000 gold. So we're looking at 80,000 gold that I could have spent today. And then what do we got here? You got this endless offer here. So easily another 4,000 gold here. So we're looking at about 85,000 gold. 85,000 gold. And then you've got the Bloody Brandy, which I could spend more if I really wanted to. I could spend more gems there. That's not money though. So here, the base exploration event. And we're going to go buy packs for the base exploration event. So there we go. We've got another 15,000 gold, 17, 18, 19,000 gold there. So about 100,000 gold. So there's roughly around 100,000 gold that I could spend on this game right now if I wanted to. How much is I wonder how much does 100,000 gold cost me if I was to go into the store and buy all this gold necessary to buy these packs. So here you see a pack for 119,000 gold, roughly 1,400 Canadian. So if I wanted to play the video game at the highest level possible, today I could spend 1,400 gold, or sorry, $1,400 today. And here's the funny part, folks. I assure you that if I spent $1,400 on this game today, as a brand new player, you still would not have a better account than me. You still would not have a better account than me. And my account is bad. Like, I don't even barely do anything in this game. So, how is that attractive? You know what I mean? How is that? Because let's be real, most people don't have $1,000 to spend on a video game. Okay? It doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense.
Mobile games are famous for their daily tasks. Everything you have to log in to every single day, every single couple of hours to keep growing and keep progressing. But Doomsday Last Survivors takes it to the next level, and not in a good way. The sheer number of daily chores is overwhelming, making the...
I know what he's gonna say, and you guys probably know where he's going with this. This is a prime example of new content that comes into the game and has an absurd time crunch that goes into just completing these tasks. For example, just in arms race alone, they've got a fucking schedule, dude. A literal hourly schedule of things that little challenges that you can complete. So let's say you want to complete troop upgrade, and your time slot is every day between 1200 to 1600 UTC. And your regional manager is sleeping between the hours of 10 to 1800 UTC every day. I'm just giving you guys an example. So you cannot get the training buff. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what happens in my region. I'm just saying that's what could happen. So it's a very user unfriendly system where instead of what they're doing here, I think they should do this instead, and this would make it a more player friendly experience because I have a lot of ideas, okay? They should give you a selection. They should allow you to select 3 or 4 of these different ones per day, and then give you an hour to complete the one that you selected before you can move on to the next one, or something like that. Like, basically what I'm trying to say is they shouldn't like, what if you have to work? What if you're the one sleeping at, 12 to 1600? What if you have other obligations? What if you have kids that you have to take care of between the hours of 12 to 1600 and you can't log in until 2100? So this was the only one that you were able to do that day, or this was the most profitable one that you could do. Part of this game is playing the game optimally and playing the game profitably. And even as a person, this is coming from a person that has all day and all night to play this game if I really wanted to, which I don't, but I could if I wanted to. I cannot even keep up with this schedule. So how are you expecting somebody else who actually has a busy life and has obligations outside of the game to come in and be able to play this game at an optimal and an efficient level? They're making it impossible to be able to complete all these daily tasks. You know, I do 10 free searches, but if I want to get my 10 free searches done each day, which offer me little to no rewards, by the way, I have to play the game for at least an hour at the very least. Um I don't know, dude. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's so demoralizing doing videos like this. You guys don't understand. It's not fun. I get no joy out of this. This is not what we want to be posting, man. I'm sure this is not what the high guy wants to be posting either. I'm sure this is not what you guys want to be watching. But judging from what people are saying in response to these videos that we're posting, there's a lot of similar feelings. There's a lot of similar interests going on in the community right now. And I feel like the more that we as content creators ignore it, the more we're just enabling and playing into IGG's little game of we're going to make as much money off you guys as possible, that we're just supporting that. So we're going to be on them and we're going to be talking about it until some changes get made. So let's continue.
Are making the game feel like a secondhand job instead of entertainment. How many red dots are we clearing every day? And with multiple accounts, how does someone expect to get the full value out of their time with all the meaningless clicks? It's unbearable. But even worse are the rewards. After slogging through task after task, players find that the rewards are lackluster or outright abysmal. This destroys motivation and makes the grind feel pointless. Instead of feeling accomplished,
Look at this is what I get for completing my daily tasks every day. I get 4 elite hero fragments. 4 elite hero fragments. After about month 1, so after about 30 days of playing this game, elite hero fragments become obsolete. Why not make this even just one legendary hero fragment per day would make this so much better than what it is. You're giving us rewards that are meaningless and useless. Absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. This mysterious chest here might have a 60-minute speed up, or an elite hero fragment, or an elite hero badge, maybe an oil boost or something like that for the day. Why not make the mystery chests actually have a chance to open up something monumental? Like have a chance to open up a troop skin or a marked skin or a jackpot of like 5,000 gems or something like that. They don't have anything mysterious. There's nothing mysterious about a mystery chest. The only mystery is what shit item am I going to get out of my mystery chest today is pretty much all I think about that. And I mean, the list goes on here. Let me move my head. We've got a 50 stamina you're going to get from completing this part of the daily quests. 1 advanced search map. Okay, so you're going to get that. That's okay, I guess. You're going to get 30 EXP manuals, 1 honing component. This is a blue honing chip. Blue honing chips are absolute garbage. Why don't you change that to a purple honing chip? They won't do it because then people wouldn't spend money on purple honing chips. Well, sorry IGG, sorry to tell you that part of the game is giving people rewards that are relevant. If you're giving out rewards that are irrelevant, people aren't going to be able to progress in the game. Is that your goal? Is your goal to give out people rewards that do not progress them in the game? Is that your reward for people spending this much time playing your game, is to give them things that don't matter at all? Because if it is, you're doing a very good job of it. Let's see what else that you get here. You get a few 5-minute speed ups here. although they're completely irrelevant. Like, let's add up 24 5-minute speed ups. Oh wow, 2 hours of speed ups. Whoop de friggin' do. You know how many of those I would need to actually have it matter in the game? So let's try like, I don't know, let's try like 100 5-minute speed ups. Now we're talking, you know, we're talking 8 hours worth of speed ups now. Whoop de frickin' do, man. Or is that 8 days? No, that's 8 hours. That's 8 hours of speed ups, bro. Okay. So I would need to play for 3 days to get one day of 5 hours 5-minute speed ups. I know it seems like a ridiculous thing when there's going to be those people out there that are so used to getting very little rewards that are just be like, oh, I'm okay with the amount of rewards that I'm getting, just because they want to disagree, just to be like unique or whatever. But if you're wanting to really hand it to IG, you've got to hit them where it hurts. You've got to tell them what they're doing wrong. The more people are out there commenting, saying things like, "Oh, this is okay, that's okay, this is okay," the more you're gonna just enable IGG to continue doing what they're doing. You got to let them know what's up, man.
Players are left asking themselves why they're still playing. Is it for the thrill of the game, or is it just habitual now? Feels more like an addiction than positive relationship to me. I mean, think about it. With the sheer amount of whale players, spending players who have moved down to fearless, budding, and elite brackets well outside of their might levels, simply because the rewards are not enticing enough for the competition. And they would rather feel like a big fish in a small pond.
There's more to it than that. The rewards suck, dude. The rewards suck. But at the same time, I don't know a single whale out there that wants to go into one archipelago raid or one island raid and spend $500 on healing. Again, not to blame the whales, not to blame the players, you know. It's IGG not making the game accessible even for the whales.
And finally, let's address one of the most critical components of any competitive game: matchmaking. In Doomsday Last Survivors, matchmaking is, in a word, atrocious. Players find themselves constantly matched against far stronger opponents, often with little chance of victory. There's no apparent balance or skill-based system in place, making every competitive mode a roll of the dice. For new players, this means getting stomped right out of the gate. For veterans, it means either super easy wins or frustrating lopsided losses. Either way, it's an experience that drives people away. When the battle rating itself is an unknown metric, with even the developers not being clear how it works, it leads to a misunderstanding in the whole community. By allowing veteran players into brand new regions where new players are supposed to be able to play and grow in peace, IGG is fostering a community that caters to the whale player. With multi-regional alliances and an incentive for the top players to invade regions for the marshal and president buffs of those regions, it creates an environment.
That's one that I don't have a lot of experience with. I do watch some of those Amared videos, or Armored, whatever his name is. I watch a lot of his videos on the regions being invaded and stuff like that. I watch it purely for entertainment, honestly. I don't know any of those people. I don't deal with any of those people in game. They don't know me. But the thing is, like, I do agree with the principle of not allowing people to invade and transfer over to regions that are brand new in the game, to do things like take over the metro or just deal with beefs over alliances in those smaller territories that are already there, beefing over their own metro. It's like almost like it would almost be like in a real world situation, we've got like two countries beefing over their own personal thing, and then you've got a big gigantic country like the United States going over and intervening in pretty much every single war. So it's the same thing in this game. The only difference between the real world and this game is that the developers could do something about it, yet they just choose not to. And why is that? Well, Again, players are left to guess because they don't give us a reason, so.
Debuff players for playing outside of their might. You currently do it for Off Limits War. Why can't we do that for other events as well? When a player of a higher might wants to participate in lower war zones, debuff those players. If a player with Apex Might is playing in Elite, Fearless, or Budding, debuff those players.
I agree. Nothing more to be said about that. It's a permanent solution to a problem that is currently out of control. Whales being able to drop down, and just strong players in general being able to drop down into lower brackets to simply dominate the map or dominate the event, and for no other reason. They're not doing it for better rewards, because the rewards are better where they were at to begin with. They're simply doing it just to feel like they've done something, and that's simply all it is. It's just an ego boost for the big whales, but it's complete and utter demoralization for the entire map that they go in and do that to. So I've had it happen to me before, and I'm sure you guys have had it happen to you. I agree with this solution. Give them a debuff, just like they do in Off Limits War. Although it doesn't really work that well, it still works to an extent, I'm sure. Maybe make the debuff a little bigger. The stronger you are, the more of a debuff you get. As maybe you can only have a max might. I don't know how they would calculate that into the algorithm, but that's why they're the developers, and I'm the one sitting here not developing. So they can do something about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Players. Create balance in your game. And lastly, the most requested.
One thing that I want to mention, though, quickly, because he's talking about balance in the game, that we want to bring balance to the game. One thing that I can tell you with most assurity is, yes, we do want to bring balance to the game, but at the same time, we have to be wary of creating an overbalance of the game, like to the point where it's literally a 50-50, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, because that becomes just as much of a chore as it does. And there's certain ways to start playing around things like that, in terms of, well, we won the last one, so we're not going to participate in the next one because we already know that it's going to be out of reach to begin with. So we're just going to sit out, and it would create this environment of, you're the ones that are supposed to win the event this week. It's your week to win, but the opponents on the other side, it's their week to lose. So instead of winning fairly and winning in a way that makes you feel like you've accomplished something, you ultimately go into this cycle of winning by default and losing by default. So you're giving your opponents wins for free, and your opponents are just giving you wins for, I mean, we're already kind of in that kind of a cycle because of the healing update and just because of the matchmaking in general, where we know that if we're going up against 4 or 5 big whales on the map and we are not allied with them, we are just going to give up that map because we know we're not going to be able to compete against them to begin with. And vice versa, if we're the top dogs on the map and everybody else, doesn't have anything to match up with us, then they just give up. And there's no fun, there's no fighting, there's no arguing, there's no tower battles, there's nothing of the sort. So we're just sitting there for 4 or 5 days with our hands under our ass. I'm on YouTube searching up shit, looking up other video games, watching other shit just to entertain myself. I'm not being entertained by the video game that is supposed to be entertaining me. So I'm literally just sitting there on border patrol, making sure that nothing does happen. And I can tell you, 90% of the time, nothing does happen. So it's like, it's all boils down to improper matchmaking. And then there's going to be, I'm already going to answer the question. There's going to be people out there that say,
well, you just don't know how to properly manipulate the matchmaking system in order to get the favorable matchups that you wanted all this time.
It's not about that's the whole point I'm trying to make, dumbass. It's not about manipulating the fucking matchmaking system to get the matchmaking that you want. It's about not having to manipulate the matchmaking system in order, or not even being able to manipulate the matchmaking system in order to get the matchups that are balanced for everybody. That's the point we're trying to make here.
Players need time to grow and progress. They need time to see their change and experience it before we are pushed into new events, before we are pushed into new heroes, or even being pushed brand new game-breaking mechanics. We're still expecting genes for beasts. That's still an expectation mechanic, but with how much...
I've been saying this for months. The next Beast video I'm gonna make is when they come out with genes. I'm not gonna make more Beast videos, and then a week later they're gonna come out with genes, and all of my Beast videos are gonna be rendered fully obsolete anyways. So then I'm just gonna have to make a new one and waste all that time making those old ones. I can just basically delete them because they're not relevant anymore. So where's the genes, IGG? We've been waiting for genes. It says it in the little Beast section, genes coming soon. We've been waiting for 6 months and there's still no genes. Where's the genes, man? I'm sure it's not that hard to integrate genes into the game. So what are you waiting for? Like,
much chips have influenced the game, I can only assume genes will do the same. With the continuous onslaught of events, new heroes, expensive collabs, and the lacking focus of quality of life or bettering the player experience, it becomes very clear the only focus of the developers is making new revenue streams. So here's what you need to do. And here's what we need to do. Now, first off, these are all things that almost all the people I've spoken to have agreed on. Almost every player I have interviewed for Who TF Are You or Schools in Session say the same thing. Slow down. You're growing too big, too fast. At over 900 active regions and a failing infrastructure, it's obvious where the system needs help. But in order for this to work, in order for IGG to...
Here's the thing that I just want to say, which kind of implies that what he's saying is correct without actually saying it. Despite the fact that there's over 900 active regions in the game, each one of those regions might only have 1 or 2 at the very most active alliances on average. Okay? And I would say that each active alliance maybe has between 30 to 50 players that are active and fighting on average. That's just a guess. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if we times that by 2, so saying that, let's just say on average every region, each one of those regions has 100 active players that are fighting, logging into the game each day, doing their, playing the game regularly, playing events and stuff like that, and there's around 900 regions. That means that there's roughly about 90,000 players. So there's roughly about 90,000 players that are actively playing this game. Yet there's been over a million downloads in the Google Play Store. So this is the retaining rate. Let's just say 100,000 people, okay? Just for figurative sake. That means that 1 in 10 people are actually downloading the game and playing the game. That's your success rate for people actually wanting to play this game after they've downloaded it is 10%. I think that's a pretty low number, honestly, and that means that most of the regions that are in the game are inactive. Like, most of the territory in the games are inactive. Even though there may be active alliances in that territory, most of the territory that those alliances own, I don't know how to say that, like that reside in, that those alliances reside in, most of that land is barren and empty. So anyway, just wanted to say that.
To hopefully hear us, and in order for them to listen, we need to strike. So here's what I suggest. On September 9th, 2025, we strike. We stand up for one day and stop spending entirely. The community as a whole has a voice when we speak together, so let's let our money be the voice of reason. 24 hours, no one spends $1. We need to mobilize our efforts to enact real change and hopefully get the developers to listen to these simple suggestions. We need to come together to save this once wonderful game from falling into the pit of despair. Doomsday Last Survivor has all the ingredients to become a staple in the mobile gaming world, but with poor customer support, unstable servers, broken balance, profit-driven design, overwhelming chores, empty promises, and a matchmaking system that just doesn't work, IGG has turned potential into disappointment. So let's stand tall and show them that we really do care. We really do want to see this game succeed, and we really do want what is best for the community as a whole. Let's unite under one moment, under one cause, to hopefully enact some real change back to Doomsday Last Survivors.
And that's it, guys. That's what we're going to do. September 9th is the day where nobody spends anything. If I catch you spending money on this game on September 9th, I will come to your region, I will invade your region, and I will burn your lowest shelters, like your level 23 shelters and below. I'll burn them all. If I catch you spending money on September 9th. I'm just kidding. I will call Rogue and I will have him do it. That's all I got for you guys today. I probably wouldn't get a reply from Rogue if I'm just being honest with you. No, he'd probably reply and be like, yo, send me the location. I'm in, man. I love invading. No, I'm just kidding. You guys all have a good, blessed day, man. And I will see you all in the next one. I'm out for now. Peace.